America Last is back, and the rest of the world couldn't be happier. President Biden in England today, ahead of the G7 summit. Biden meeting with Prime Minister Boris Johnson, having a lovely visit while our economy here falls apart. Look at this, U.S. inflation highest in 13 years as prices rise 5%. That is a 5% spike in what things cost in just 1 year. It's a big spike. Gas, cars, clothes, flights, food, commodities, all more expensive. So take whatever your salary is right now. That money is now worth dramatically less than it was just a short time ago. And don't expect your pay to increase with a Democrat in the White House. Those days are gone. If you're looking for something to blame for all this, well, this is what happens when your government intentionally cripples businesses, locks Americans down too harshly for far too long, and then, most importantly, starts handing out a ton of free money. Hundreds of millions of Americans have received large amounts of government money. Business owners who struggled and those who didn't all shared massive PPP checks as a reward for not firing their workers. Millions of Americans who kept their jobs have gotten thousands of dollars in free money. And as the lockdowns finally ended, Americans dusted off their credit cards that they really couldn't use and started spending like crazy. And from that, you have inflation. The effects are just beginning. And with all of that, here's Biden today enjoying the UK.
It's gorgeous. I don't want to go home.
Yeah, looks nice. I bet he is much more happy over there. He doesn't want to come home. He's much more popular over there. Our allies around the globe are elated to have another feckless liberal in the White House. Nobody liked Donald Trump, of course. The 2019 NATO summit was great proof of that. There's Boris and Trudeau and Macron, a few others, all giggling like schoolgirls, talking trash about Trump, about his press conferences. Trudeau said something about how he's seen Trump's handlers with their jaws on the floor before. There's a few little choice comments in there. But of course, most of NATO, this is a NATO summit you're looking at, most of them were insecure around Donald Trump. He's the only president who ever called out their BS. NATO, of course, was designed as a treaty where all parties agreed to spend at least 2% of their GDP on their own defense. We spend way more than that here, way more than 2%. The UK does hit its mark for its part. The French, the Canadians, and most of the other nations do not. They don't want to spend the money. Just let those idiot Americans protect the world. And we wonder why Europe has such better infrastructure. Germany doesn't contribute its fair share and then goes and signs a pipeline deal with benefits for Russia. You see why Trump got so angry. This kind of stuff drove him crazy. It should drive you crazy too. A Pew survey finds global approval of the United States has rebounded under Biden. Now, the Washington Post puts that out. Sounds like good news, right? That's not good news. Everyone, of course, is pleased that foolish America is back. To the rest of the world, America is a rich guy who's desperate for friends, a sucker that takes the abuse. All Biden or Obama ever wanted was America to fit in with the rest of the world. That's what they wanted, us to fit in with them. They were embarrassed by America's right-of-center, small government heritage. Biden is eager to convert the U.S. into European big government liberalism, acceptable to people like Emmanuel Macron. And on that note, since America has no debt, and we've obviously achieved utopia, Biden has announced he's spending billions of your dollars on 500 million vaccines to donate to other countries all across the world. What a lovely gesture. We've always been the world police. Now it appears we're its nurse as well.
The United States will purchase an additional 500 million doses from Pfizer vaccine that will donate nearly 100 low and lower middle income countries. The United States is providing these 500,000 doses with no strings attached. Let me say it again, with no strings attached. Our vaccine donations don't include pressure for favors or potential concessions.
No strings attached. From a country that's $28 trillion in debt, we'd have to work for the next year and a half as a country and spend no money to get back to balance, to get back to no debt. Think about that. All of us, all 330 million of us working for a year and a half, spending zip. Just saying. Not that anybody really cares, but don't worry. If we're ever in a jam, I'm sure the rest of the world will come to our rescue, right? Because we always go to theirs, right? And while Biden is delivering another giant payday for Big Pharma, get a load of this. The White House Budget Office on Monday cleared the administration's proposal to retract a Trump rule linked to insulin and EpiPen discounts. Why? Donald Trump worked very hard to bring down high prices. was good politics, too. And that's why Big Pharma hated him. Trump was sick of seeing the American people footing the bill, paying the highest prices for drugs, while the rest of the world got a discount while benefiting from our innovation. It makes sense. It made people happy. Now Joe Biden is right back in there making life-saving drugs more expensive, putting Big Pharma over diabetics and little kids with food allergies. Why? Ask yourself, why would he do that? I'd love to get the answer. We are weak again as a country, of course, and our enemies are taking notice. They see weakness in the White House. Dr. Jill has to chaperone the president around. Iran is sending military ships stocked with arms to Venezuela. They're not worried about a response from Joe Biden. We're going to have more on that later in the show. Speaking of Dr. Jill, though, the desperate for attention First Lady took a swipe at the previous First Lady today. She needed to get a little bit more attention out of this trip, so she wore a jacket that says love. Looks like something a kid would wear, not a 70-year-old woman. On the back of it, you can see it right there, because she says they are bringing love from America. Again, look at me. It's a response to the jacket that Melania once wore, which was a strange jacket as well, to be frank. But that one said, "I really don't care, do you?" So these are the priorities of the current First Lady, a little jacket war. Big Pharma, though, isn't the only one who got a massive handout today. Today, the U.S. lifted sanctions on more than a dozen former Iranian officials and energy firms. Again, why? Biden gave that up without the Iranians having to do anything. This is how we negotiate now. Welcome back. And it's looking like he's about to throw a pretty big bone to China as well. Part of Biden's tax plan involves convincing the rest of the world to all come together and commit to a 15% minimum global corporate tax. The G7 members are already pretty much on board. That's 7 very rich nations, virtue signaling, yada, yada. But there are more than 7 countries in the world, of course, something like 200 of them. And China is already looking for an exemption to that 15% plan. And Biden and Boris seem to be just fine with that. And that, to me, is hilarious. It's just like the Paris Accord all over again.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.